We're losing 1-0 to Bristol City today as well.
It's not just that. I don't know if you've seen Twitter the last couple of days ago. I'm not moving my seat!
Away the lads. Hey, what a great result. Fulham, Fulham, and look at that for a shirt.
Newcastle United's Christmas party at St James's Park went rather well.
Fucking get on. Fucking get on.
Get in. And we'll get on with the fucking get on.
It's NFTV Radio. It's 2 PM here on Saturday the 16th of December. Newcastle United are on a run of 3 defeats in a row and crashing out of the Champions League in midweek. Visiting West Londoners Fulham, who have won back-to-back 5-0 wins. This won't be an easy afternoon for the Magpies. Let's join Lee on his way into St James's Park.
Yes, thank you for that lovely intro. So Newcastle United are looking to bounce back today. Fulham behind me here at St James's Park. They're on a great run. 2 5-0 wins in a row, and now they're only 5 points behind Newcastle. But Newcastle are up against a tricky opposition, but would need to bounce back. Fulham, Luton and Forest. They're 3 great games that Newcastle would expect at least get 7 to 9 points in between them 3. How are the lads? The chips are out, red hot. Ooh, but I'm going to score them. Now the food isn't great at St James's Park. I'm going to score that one an 8-0. Really, really warm. Quite tasty. 8 out of 10. Right, so as the lads come onto the pitch, let's take a look at Newcastle's lineup. So big Dan Burn comes in at left back and Tino Livramento will move over to right back. That's what we predicted in midweek, and that has happened because Trippier is suspended. But Sven Botman, everybody. Big Sven, beautiful Botman is back on the bench, so we might see him start against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup in a few days. But also look at the other side at the midfield there. Sean Longstaff is back in centre midfield. Miley will drop to the bench. Apart from that, there is no other changes. There is no Alexander Isak at all on the bench either, so that must be nursing an injury. But that is your Newcastle United lineup today. So you get a lot of the fans that come front row to get a glimpse of obviously Newcastle stars on the east stand there. You just scroll up, we'll spot our photographer. There she is. Serena Taylor. Snap away, and of course you'll see these photographs on the club's website later on. She does an absolutely fantastic job. You'll see her dotted around, home and away around the ground as well, and she'll always try and get a snap of the away fans in particular.
Well, after back-to-back Premier League defeats and a Champions League exit, Newcastle need to press the reset button today against a Fulham side in fabulous free-scoring form. 16 goals in 4 games is astonishing, but Newcastle have won their last 6 Premier League games here at home sweet home, St James's Park. It has the makings of quite a match.
So because of that injury to Fabian Schär, Emil Krath has come on. He's playing at right back. Tino Livramento has moved over to the left back. Dan Burn has now moved to centre back alongside Jamal Lascelles. But this is not what Newcastle need. Yet another injury, man. God, hey, man.
Collision between Jiménez and Longstaff. It's going to be a yellow card for Raúl Jiménez, himself just on the end of being clattered himself by Lascelles. This doesn't look too clever.
Well, this looks unbelievably reckless from Jiménez. He's up so high. Is he angry at the challenge that he had just a few minutes ago from Lascelles? And the referee, Sam Barrett, has deemed it to be a yellow. And thankfully, I think he pulled out, but his body just catches. I think you can see it catches. Well, right on the face there. I think he's a lucky man.
Well, Jiménez knows the story here. His yellow card becomes a red, and Fulham are down to 10 men with less than a quarter of the contest gone at St James's Park.
In all honesty, I think it's the right decision. You just wonder if he'd lost his discipline after receiving a flailing arm into his face. He had to go off for a bit of treatment. He's maybe disgusted with himself. But it was more than reckless. It was serious foul play. It does merit a red card. And Fulham down to 10 now. My goodness, they're not going to get 5 this afternoon.
Kraft. Gordon took it down well, found his feet and hit the bar. And Longstaff unable to put the rebound away. Surely not another injury for Newcastle, having already lost so many players this season and having already lost Fabian Schär in this match with a hamstring. And it's going to be Lewis Miley who will be called upon here. Newcastle won't mind that so much, although Joe Linton is so effective for them. He's pulled it back here for Callum Wilson. Gordon! Some save from Leno to keep it level for Fulham. Rice. He's done really well, bustling his way through. Lewis Miley! Lewis Miley! It's the moment he would have dreamt of. His first goal for Newcastle. Memories are made of that, and St James's Park needed that.
A brilliant moment for Lewis Miley. Look at the scenes around St James's. They love to see him getting his first goal for the club, and he takes it so well, sizes up the situation.
After the week they've had, a perfect pick-me-up for Newcastle.
Well, Almirón gets it. I just wonder whether Callum Wilson might have been offside.
How do you even get what's his name?
Guimaraes lifting it in. Will it fall favourably here for Newcastle? Almirón! Guimaraes. That is there! And he's bundled it in! Another local boy scores! It happens a lot in these parts. The Champions League may have gone, but there is still plenty to play for Newcastle United.
Well, you can't get any more popular goals this afternoon than the ones we've seen. First from Lewis Miley, and this third one from Dan Burn.
Newcastle United's Christmas party at St James's Park went rather well. A frustrating first half when they just couldn't find a way past Fulham, who were down to 10 men with Raúl Jiménez sent off. But yet another local boy came up with a goal. Lewis Miley, 17 years of age, going on 27, opened the scoring, unlocked the door. Miguel Almirón pounced for a second, and then it was time for another local hero to bundle in a third in Dan Burn, and Sean Longstaff almost got in on the act as well when it comes to the local boys here. Lewis Miley, one of their own. Dan Burn, one of their own. Miguel Almirón has pretty much become one of their own over the years. Newcastle have got their Champions League exit and their 2 Premier League defeats out of their system. And how Fulham, well, the picture changed for them with that red card for Jiménez. They just weren't able to play their usual game, and Newcastle got a grip in the second half. It's a Merry Christmas for Eddie Howe and Newcastle at St James's Park, although still a couple of games to go before the big day. It ends here. Newcastle 3, Fulham 0.
And there you have it, the last game before Christmas for the home fans, as Newcastle United have defeated Fulham 3-0 thanks to goals by Lewis Miley, his first for the club, Miguel Almirón and Dan Burn, starting his first game in a long time. As the fans are jubilant, heading out of the ground, let's head over to Carl, Johnny and Lee for the next part of The Last Word.
And we are here for the last word. What a day for Newcastle United. A 3-0 win. You would have seen some shots inside St James's Park. Christmas is on the horizon. Newcastle win by 3-0. We're all in a great mood. If you like, with the 3 wise men for Christmas. What would you say?
To describe who was who, though.
Exactly. Just before we start the last word, just in terms of Premier League news, which obviously we normally talk about after Eddie Howe's spoken to the press, in terms of the press, but I do think we should mention Tom Lockyer, the Luton captain, who actually Newcastle take on next week to take on Luton Town, has collapsed at the Bournemouth versus Luton game. He is responsive from what I've seen just before full time, which is great news in that sense. But again, all our thoughts are with Luton Town, Bournemouth and the supporters, because it must have been very distressing to see those sort of scenes. But the game was abandoned at 1-1, rightly so. But hopefully Tom Lockyer gets all the support that he needs, and hopefully he gets back onto a football pitch sooner rather than later. We'll continue with the last word, and Carl, back on Newcastle versus Fulham. In terms of team news, it was great to see Sven Botman back on the bench. Lewis Miley was dropped onto the bench, and Callum Wilson had the line. Alexander Isak not involved whatsoever. What did you make of the lineup?
I was a little bit... I've not heard or read anything about Isak, so I don't know if he's got a niggle or something, so I was a little bit surprised that he wasn't involved in the squad at all. I completely forgot that Trippier was suspended. I actually thought he was being rested, which I thought would have been a good decision, but even so, good for Dan Burn to come back into the side. And I was a little bit surprised that he just threw Longstaff in over Miley, because Miley's done so well. That said, I think it was probably the perfect game for Longstaff to start getting some minutes under the belt. So with what was available, I was pretty happy with it, to be fair.
In terms of Fulham, it was quite solid from Fulham. The only thing I did see is that Willian was on the bench, didn't even come on today. Raúl Jiménez and Alex Iwobi, who scored so many goals for Fulham, they're the main strengths, but it was Raúl Jiménez that was in the news pretty much straight away, Lee, with that red card.
Before you mention that, because Fordy's not here, he would bring up Lascelles, kept Botman out the side. Just he would, wouldn't he? Shout out to 40.
All I'm saying is, come on.
You know he's in the comments right now saying that as well. But that's only because Botman has only just come back.
But even a broken clock's twice a day. How? Come on. That's what we call 40 now, the broken clock. Anyway, Raúl Jiménez, he's been on fantastic form. Obviously, goals against Nottingham Forest and West Ham in their respective 5-0 wins. Coming into this game, they were in a great deal of form. But it was... I feel sorry for him a little bit, because the ball's bouncing and he's trying to get the ball, but he's just so much force that's behind it. Yeah. Do you think it's a stonewall red card? Or do you think the referee made a blinding error? Because I have to be honest, I was expecting a yellow. I would be more surprised if it was a red, but I don't think it's ever going to be overturned if that was the case.
Do you not think his tempo's gone up, because only literally a minute or two earlier he was involved? Was it Bruno?
Yeah.
With a clash, and he's high. I can't remember if it was Bruno, but he was involved with some player, and then 2 minutes later he's gone a bit. I've literally just come on the ground. I have no replay of it. I've just seen it from direct view.
What did you think live?
If I go home, which I'll be home by the time this video goes out, and slow down, yeah, because in real time you kind of tell. I don't think you could tell it was like that. It's obviously a foul, because the referee first gives a yellow, so he's clearly seen it and give a foul, and then obviously in the ear comes back, VAR at the touchline, good minute and a half wait, changes the decision, so red card, and obviously they've looked at it, but can't see it in real life, it's hard.
What did you think live?
I didn't think it was a red.
No,
I didn't.
no.
I understand where Lee's come from as well. It was so quick. I thought, okay, booking, fair enough. Like, right on the edge of. I didn't think it was a red, if I'm honest. And Chris rung me at half time, and he was like, probably still wouldn't have given it a red. He said he would have been frustrated if it was given against us. He said lots of people saying it was a red card, but if I was a Newcastle fan that was against us, it's like I would have been disappointed if we got given a red card for it. So, yeah, I think it was harsh, to be honest, from real time. I do.
People are going to talk about the first goal, the second goal, and third goal. That's the key moment in today's game.
It is the key moment, and obviously it did change the complexion of the game, but Fabian Schär getting an injury and Joe Linton getting an injury is not ideal. Fabian Schär seemed to pull up his hamstring. He was walking off, which is obviously good to see that he could walk off. There's been so many times you've seen Fabian Schär get an injury and you think, oh, he's out now, and he walks off and he's okay and he comes back on the pitch. Obviously with a hamstring you can't take that risk. Hopefully it's not too bad, he's not out of action for too long, but the injuries are worrying, and Joe Linton picking up a knock as well isn't great, Carl. Lewis
And Isak.
We don't know what the crack with Isak is. Eddie Howe's going to tell us very, very shortly. But particularly what we've seen this afternoon with Schär and Joe Linton, they're almost the spine of the team at the minute. How concerning is that? I know Lewis Miley was fantastic today, and Emil Kraft I thought was actually really, really good today. But medium to long term is a concern, isn't it?
Oh, massively. I think Jamal Lascelles has the football gods looking down on him. He's been brilliant. He's going to get an opportunity to stay in the side because people would expect Botman to walk back in over Jamal Lascelles. But yeah, that Fabian Schär injuries, especially that side, it looks to be a reoccurring one around his knees, hamstring. It is worrying. More so Joe Linton 100%, because I felt like as soon as he went off, we lost that enforcer. We lost a little bit of the creativity. Obviously Bruno stepped up, but yeah, you start to get people back into the spine, and then the others go out. It's a nightmare at the moment. It really is.
Yeah, and towards obviously the sending off towards half time, Lee, the best chance that Newcastle really had was Anthony Gordon hitting the crossbar with his left foot. It came out as Sean Longstaff, but just got stuck between his foot, and Fulham managed to clear it.
Late on the second half as well, just hits him. Yeah. Like it was Richie, wasn't it?
Yeah, Fulham managed to get rid of it and get cleared. In terms of Fulham, their best chance was Alex Iwobi, who was through earlier in the half.
He was their best player for me.
Yeah, he was.
That as well. Poor finish. He should have scored.
Straight, like Dubravka made a save. Had a clean sheet. He made a few saves, like a couple of them were straight at him, but he made some saves. It was great. But yeah, that was Fulham's best opportunity. Half time came, Christmas songs were coming on, and I thought this was probably the best bit of the first half because it was a long first half. But
the best thing that happened in that first half was there was a bit of commotion. I don't know if you've seen it, looking down at the Gallagher, all the police were chucking a couple of fans out. That was right in front of me, and honestly, that was the best piece of action I've seen in that stadium up until that point.
Yeah, but I tell you what was amazing, Carl. A man he's still a boy really, Lewis Miley. Getting his foot.
School on Monday, isn't it?
Yeah, he's still
next Friday, bless you.
I know. But to be fair, normally in the last week before Christmas, I was watching films anyway, so it's all right.
Now probably be watching Lewis Miley scoring his goal.
Hey, black and white army.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you how good Lewis Miley was. Unreal, says Josh Benyard. Unreal. Lewis Miley is unreal, according to Josh Banyard. Yeah. What nice little finish, neat finish. And that was in his moment, the knee slide, giving it to the fans. But it was great to get it 10 minutes, 12 minutes into the second half, because the longer the game went on, Fulham would have just sat back, wasted more time. Leno was being frustrating, but great finish and a great moment.
It really was, and it was exactly what we needed, and I think probably the best person for it to come from as well. Young lad, scoring a goal like that, we really needed that lift, and like you said, I think Eddie Howe's give it them at half-time. And I said to you before, I think Bruno was struggling with I don't want to say the calibre of players around him, because that's not fair, but I don't feel like people were on the same wavelength as him at times, because Bruno was exceptional. And sometimes people weren't looking for the pass. So that goal from Lewis Miley really lifted. We needed it, because I think we were all looking at half-time thinking Fulham could just sit 10 men behind the ball and nick a goal. And that was really frustrating. Completely changed second half, which was great.
Yeah, it really was. Just a big shout out to Bruno for that first goal as well. Someone that
he was amazing.
He was unreal today. But the thing with Bruno for me, driving into the box, trying to do something. I think Carl was kind of touching on it. We just lacked that bit of creativity, that bit of something going forward. But nice little pass into the path of Lewis Miley. Great finish, and one of our own scores again.
Great. Like, you reminded me, Bruno, today, a bit of Pirlo. Get the ball off the defenders, right, I'm going to do something. I'm going to outside the boot it. I'm going to look up, I'm going to spray it. Bruno was just mint again today. When he's on form, Newcastle are on form. But Lewis Miley, what he's really good at is close feet. What he's really good at in a situation where he's in a corner flag, or he's on the byline, or he's going past a player. He's very close, and he took it so well. And all his family, and including his brother who plays in the 21s, will be buzzing the night. Local lad from Stanley, so he'll be absolutely over the moon. And that, I agree with Carl, we needed that. As soon as we got the first goal, the monkey's off the back, because then you don't want the Liverpool situation where you're thinking, oh, we're 1-0 up against 10 man, you've got to go again, and it didn't come far after, did it?
No, it certainly didn't, and even Lewis Miley gets and crosses in towards the end of the game, like on a plate, almost on a plate for Callum Wilson a couple of times, which is great to see. Something else to add to his locker, which is absolutely fantastic. But the second goal did come in, it came quite quickly as well. A little ball from Anthony Gordon, Callum Wilson. I think the referee was going to give a penalty before he seen the advantage was given, and Almirón, because Leno's come out, it was an empty net. There was a little bit of a wait for VAR, but as soon as it was 2-0, you kind of thought game over after that. Fulham weren't really going to do anything with 10 men, were they?
Yeah, the Miggy haters will be quiet tonight, won't they? So, because he has got criticism, rightly so, I do feel. Sometimes he looks like a world beater, and other games he just looks like a Sunday League player, but great to get his goal. That'll keep the criticism off, and that was the killer, because then you can relax a little bit against 10 men and you can go enjoy yourself. And it's a scramble. It could have been given as a penalty, as you say, Johnny, but just delighted it fell for him.
Yeah, and that was 2-0. It was game over at that point, and it was just a case of can Newcastle just run the clock, and it was great just watching it from the Gallagher. We were all sitting in the Gallagher, and it was just attack after attack after attack, and chances after chances after chances. But that man again, Bruno, lovely little cross towards the far post, and Dan Burn at the second attempt. It's a great save on the first attempt, but the second attempt he made sure it went, and he took the ball, the man, everything in the back of that net. And big Dan Burn made it 3-0 against his former club.
Yeah, it was a fantastic bit of skill again from Bruno with the ball, and the vision to find Dan Burn at the back post. Perfectly timed, perfectly weighted ball. And I think he hit another one not long after to Matt Ritchie as well. Like, he was on fire today, like especially that second half. But yeah, great for Dan Burn to come back into the side and just bundle the ball into the back of the net, like you said, with everyone. And the Gallagher just went nuts again. So yeah, good, fantastic result in the end. We needed that today. Needed it.
Yeah, we certainly did need that. And likes of Tito Livramento was given a little bit of a breather. Yeah. Dan Burn was given a little bit of a breather. Anthony Gordon was given a little bit of a breather.
Fucking gan on. Fucking gan on.
Get in. And we'll gan on with fucking gan on with Sven Botman as well, getting some minutes on his belt. I want to ask
Carla, you're ringing Talk Sport tonight. Are you going to give Jason Cundy a bit of his medicine?
Oh, Jason, my friend Jason.
I don't know if I'll have time. I've got to go down to the stadium of shite in a minute to cover the boxing, so yeah, probably won't have time.
Oh, Jason, Newcastle were great today.
Yeah, because he was winding all the fans up the other night, and he was doing me head in.
Honestly, those Brummy mugs, honestly, Villa mugs.
Yeah, I was looking at it from a more objective point of view. That's all it was. Yeah, look, people aren't going to agree with me, and I'll be honest. I've sat and just been too nice for a long time, not been true to myself. So I just thought, I'm going to have an opinion. Do you know what I mean? Rather than just going away with it.
Do you know what it is? You're good like that because Adam Phillips scared to come on camera and tell it how he really feels. It's the fans! It's the fans!
Well, good.
WhatsApp reference.
Yes, WhatsApp reference.
Hi, Adam. I love you.
WhatsApp reference, definitely. But it did
finish. A question?
No, it wasn't even a question. I was just going to ask what Eddie Howe what Eddie Howe thought about it. You completely flummoxed me there. Yeah, it did finish Newcastle United 3, Fulham 0. We heard Christmas songs towards the end with Lewis Miley, Jason Tyndall.
I wonder if Adam was singing them.
Oh, he was. He loves a good sing-song, does Adam. But yeah, it did finish 3-0, and Eddie Howe will be very, very happy tonight. I'm sure you'll be having a couple of beers on a Saturday night, just the week before Christmas, celebrating 3 points. Eddie, what did you make of that today?
We started the game pretty well, but we knew Fulham were going to be a tough nut to crack today. They're in good form. They've got some good attacking players, so they had their moments as well. So it was a good game. And then it was about, could we break them down and did we have the quality? And I thought second half we were excellent. It's great to see. I think we've got real affection for our local players. The academy structure, we want to produce more. So it's good to see them contributing to wins. Yeah, his all-round performances have been so good, and he's created a couple of goals with some really good passes in the final third, so it's good to see him get rewarded with a goal himself. He's an incredible talent, and yeah, he started his Newcastle career in a great way.
And we are back. Lee, great to see the likes of Sven Botman back, just even for a few minutes, which is great to see. But I want to touch on a couple of players that we probably don't mention too much. Emil Kraft being one. I thought he was outstanding today.
See his meg at the end on the corner.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. But I thought, like, Emil Kraft and Tino Livramento, I keep saying Tino Livramento every week, but
the thing, that injury to Shea, who was going to come on? Because he's got a few options. He could bring Botman straight on. That tells me Botman isn't fully fit. But then he could obviously bring on Hall. But then I seen Kraft, and I was trying to work out and think, what's he doing here?
But do you know the biggest compliment I can give Emil Kraft? When he came on, I felt fine. I felt relaxed, and I think that's just a testament of how well he's done since come back from injury.
It helps being against 10 men. That's not me.
Yeah.
But it does, doesn't it? But he had the licence to get up and down there. But he's got players ahead of him, hasn't he? But you'll probably play on Tuesday. So, but I reckon there'll be one or two changes. But look, the injuries, do you know what's just so frustrating? Because I know you touched upon it earlier, is that we seem to lose one and then another one comes back at the minute. We seem to lose one and then another one comes back. Anymore, we are knackered. I know it's a broken record, but we cannot get any more, Johnny. We need. Because I think the Fabian Schär one's more serious than the Joe Linton one.
It is, but I think the good thing is that we've only got a couple of games to go, and then we've got a little bit of a breather. We've got a week by week kind of rest, if you like. We've got 3 more games before we've got that week breather, and that is starting with Chelsea on Tuesday, Luton on Saturday, and then obviously on Boxing Day we've got Nottingham Forest and St James's Park. So from that side of things, just can we get through the next 3 games and then reevaluate?
You mentioned those 3 games. I was saying everybody at work before these 3 games. Fulham, yes, I know they won 2 5-0s, and then you've got Luton and you've got Forest. You've got to get 7 out of 9 out of that.
Certainly, we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. But Carl, how big's that Chelsea game? Because I think this is actually Newcastle's biggest game so far this season. I know we've had Champions League and we've had X, Y, and Z, but if we win, we're in the semi-finals. And it saw happen last year. If you get a half-decent draw, which Newcastle are kind of due one, then it could be back to Wembley. And I think I think Newcastle will be thinking, if they can get through Chelsea, there's a real opportunity. And I think it's almost been forgotten about a little bit.
Massively so. I think myself and you have spoken about it. That's the main focal point for me, I think. Yes, you know, we've got to look at European football, but where we are at the moment and where the squad is, I want to go back to Wembley. I want to be back at Wembley. I want to rectify what we should have won last season, because we should have won it last season, in my opinion. You know, I know we were green, but like Man United were there for the taking. They really were, and like I think if we beat Chelsea, in my eyes, we're favourites. In my eyes, we're favourites, and that's not me being entitled. I just think we've done so well in that cup, and like you say, we do deserve a little bit of a break. And for me, that's the focal point. I want to be back at Wembley. I'm sure they do as well. There's a huge opportunity for it, huge opportunity. So yeah, massive, mate, massive. Massive
opportunity. And here is your updated Premier League table. Has been a couple of games I've mentioned, obviously the situation in regarding Bournemouth versus Luton, but there has been other games. Chelsea have beaten Sheffield United this afternoon. Manchester City were 2-1 up against Crystal Palace. I think it's just about held on from what I was hearing before, and obviously Burnley are taking on Everton as we're recording. So in terms of the table, Lee, Newcastle are 6th in the Premier League table. Just a couple of points out of Manchester United, who go to Anfield tomorrow. The gap, obviously, it's still a little bit far in terms of the top 4. But do you think it's just a case of Newcastle just take it game by game? That's to see where we are at the end of January when we've got a bit more of a full strength squad.
Yes. That Chelsea game is really important. It's kind of in the way because you want a bit of momentum in the league. But you've got to start winning games now. We've got to change that away form. Starting on Tuesday, starting at Luton, we've got to change that because our away form was really poor. Last season it was so good that we were in higher position. So that has to change for me. It's another big week. We've got a midweek game and then we've got Luton. And then of course, you know, you have a break until the new year where you've got obviously Forest, Boxing Day, New Year, and then you've got the big one, which is the Mackhams, and already the banter has already started online with, like, you know, things like...
We're losing 1-0 to Bristol City today as well.
It's not just that. I don't know if you've seen Twitter the last couple of days. I'm not moving my seat!
They do not want to know. Like, I'm not even... The more I look on there, there's so many fans that and I get it to a certain extent, like 6,000 fans going to the stadium like isn't a good idea in my opinion. It isn't a good idea in terms of safety. That said,
probably more outside who didn't get a ticket.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I said to you, I'm not sure how 120 buses going through the middle of Sunderland being backed up is in any way, shape or form a good idea. But look, the police have said they're going to be able to police it, which is great. But they sound like they're shitting themselves. Like I've read so many people aren't going to be going to that game, and we've had a conversation about it because they're worried about the fact they might get smashed by us. People don't want to give up their seat and stuff, and you're just like...
To be fair, there's loads of... To be fair, I've never seen so much overtime at Nissan on a Saturday. Oh my God, honestly.
But what my point was is that we've got a lot to look forward to. Even though, yes, the down have been out the Champions League. Look, we're still fighting for Europe. We've got the Carabao Cup, we've got the FA Cup on the horizon. It still could be a good season. You know, we're out the Champions League, aye, but it could be blessing in disguise. Because instead of having an injury-ravaged side that hasn't to play 2 games a week, we can cut that down to 1 a week.
See what happens. It's just finally back on today's game. Man of the match?
Bruno.
By far?
For me, the one that I would have given if it wasn't him would have probably been Tino, to be fair. But yeah, I thought Bruno was leaped above everyone today.
Man of the match?
Yeah, it's Bruno because he dictated the tempo. Sensational.
Sorry, Lee. Yeah, Joe Linton's gone off and he's just grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. It was outstanding.
Yeah, I agree with the pair of you. Bruno was my man.
For once, we've all agreed.
We've all agreed on the man of the match, but I must mention Lewis Miley was absolutely fantastic when he came on, and just the little flicks and the little passes, and almost like he can read the game. He's got like the vision of what he wants to do next, which with more Premier League games and more big games, he'll stand out. He'll be an absolute superstar here at Newcastle United. But yeah, it has finished here. Newcastle United 3, Fulham 0. We're all going to have a great Saturday night. We've got the women's game tomorrow at Kingston Park. Newcastle taking on Fylde, who are second bottom, but still got to get the job done and actually take on Fylde in the Cup quarter-final in January, I believe it is, as well. So it'll be good to see how they get on tomorrow afternoon. Me and Lee will be there tomorrow, and then Tuesday, me and Lee and Harry will be at Stamford Bridge as we go down to London Town.
Is Chris coming?
No, he's not.
Chris, another one you know. Can't go to the Derby game. You know, you can't go to the what?
Go on, get me.
No then, what about that for a shirt?
Go closer.
How are the lads? Hey, what a great result. Fulham, Fulham, and look at that for a shirt.
Who was your man of the match today?
Bruno in the end. Anyways, you do a good job, lads. Anyways, we'll just carry on and just hope for the best.
We will. Yeah. Have a great Christmas.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, Merry Christmas to all the Newcastle fans everywhere.
Good lad. Cheers, mate. On that note, I just want to say Merry Christmas to all the Newcastle United fans, because this is our last home game before Christmas. Of course, we've got Nottingham Forest on Boxing Day. So wherever you celebrate Christmas and whatever you're doing, have a fantastic time. Raise a drink to Newcastle United, and I'll tell you what. Let's just talk about Newcastle victories from now on, because it's so much better when we do. Like and subscribe to Newcastle Fans TV, and from the three of us, we'll see you all very soon.